Terra Markov's betrayal of the Teen Titans is considered one of the darkest moments in DC history. How could it actually have turned out worse? Well, let's hop into the pages of Tales from the Dark Multiverse, Teen Titans Judas Contract issue number 1 and find out. Alrighty then, so by now you probably know the score. Tempest Fugonaut is allowing us to see into alternate universes to see how famous events in DC history could have gone the other way completely. As we join this particular story, it's the 80s and the Teen Titans are flying high right now, but they're also ready to undergo a bunch of change. Wally West, the Kid Flash, is deciding to step back from the team and return to school. Then of course you got Dick Grayson, aka Robin, aka the Boy Wonder, who's really not feeling either of those previous two things anymore. He wants to strike out on his own, get his own identity. Eventually, one of the reasons people remember the Judas Contract so much is that we actually get to see Robin become Nightwing, but that might not come to pass anymore because of the other big thing that was happening at that time. Mainly that the Titans had adopted a new friend at this time named Terra. She had Earth powers, and what none of them actually knew is that she was a sleeper agent for the Titans' most hated foe, Deathstroke. In the original Judas Contract, the team didn't find out that Terra was actually working against them until it was all too late, and eventually that story ended with her own death, but this is the Dark Multiverse, so things go differently. First off, while giving his impassioned speech about how he doesn't want to live in Batman's shadow anymore, Dick actually realizes that there might be something wrong with Terra. You know, like maybe this speech was resonating with her a little too much. He tries to talk to her later and Terra gets all sorts of defensive. At first, Dick figures that maybe she's just upset living in the shadow of her brother, Geoforce, which as a comic fan is just way too frickin' funny a concept for me that anyone would live in the shadow of anyone from the Outsiders, but hey, that's a discussion for another day. No, but of course the person that Terra is really talking about living under is none other than Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke, who admittedly has more than a few things in common with Batman, the cold distantness and the butler. Terra begins to question her working relationship with Deathstroke. He seems to take none of the risk while she's actually the one undercover right now risking it all. Deathstroke does not like this very much and slaps her across the face for her trouble. Ooh, that was the wrong thing to do because that fully uncorks the can of crazy that is Terra. Using her amazing seismic powers, she kills him dead, but she's not done there. She not only wants to destroy Deathstroke, but to actually outdo him too by getting rid of the Teen Titans, which he could never do. Of course, if she wants to pull off that feat, she's gonna have to get a lot stronger first. Luckily, Deathstroke was a super soldier and just so happened to have a bunch of serum on hand that allowed him to access 90% of his brain. Under duress, Wintergreen shoots Terra up with the stuff in hopes that she'll just overdose on it, but here's the thing, Slade was a normal person, Terra's a person with powers, so they affect them very differently. It's also at this point too, Terra figures, you know what, that name just doesn't work for me anymore. Terra, that means dirt. I want to be something bigger and better. You can call me Gaia now. As in Mother Earth, very clever. With a new costume, new name, and new power set, Gaia sets out to take down the Titans one at a time. Starting with Beast Boy, or Changeling as he was known at the time, as well as Raven, the two characters who probably had the closest relationship to her, proving that she's very serious about killing them all. And yeah, that's basically what she does, starts steamrolling every member of the Teen Titans individually. Cyborg gets it, Starfire gets it, until there's eventually no one left but Dick Grayson himself, who arguably this is his fault, because if he wasn't just so damn good at giving speeches, Terra would never have gotten the idea in the first place. Realizing the severity of the situation and just how truly screwed they all are, Wally West comes out of retirement and even gives Dick his old suit back so the two of them can try and get some justice for their fallen Titans comrades. It does not go well for them as Terra is already way more powerful than they could ever imagine. In fact, Superman has to be called in to deal with the threat. Clark is all cocksure at first, saying, hey, your Earth powers don't scare me. You can't pierce me, hurt me, suffocate me, crush me, and I'm gonna bring you to justice. Which is pretty true, but that still doesn't stop Terra from drowning an entire city in lava, which in and of itself is only part of a bigger ploy to stall for time so she can gain control over some kryptonite. Which is definitely a stone which would be in her purview for control. In the end, the last person who actually tries to stop Terra's mad rampage is Beast Boy, who turns out to not have been fully dead, but just, really horribly messed up. Guard desperately tries to appeal to any good that might be left in Terra, but here's the problem, there was very little good there to begin with. She was always crazy and power has only made her madder. And as the heroes eke out their final breath, this universe falls into the stony clutches of Gaia. And it's on that note right there the comic comes to a close, everybody. And so that was Tales from the Dark Multiverse, Teen Titans Judas Contract, issue number 1 from Kyle Higgins. I'm a big Higgins fan, so it pains me a lot to say I did not love this issue. Now, a lot of that isn't his fault. In fact, I think choosing Judas Contract to be done in the style of a Tales from the Dark Multiverse story, and especially making it the last one, was a bad idea. You see, stuff like Nightfall and Infinite Crisis and Death of Superman and Blackest Night were really good choices to do crazy cracked mirror versions of because they were these big, huge, almost summer blockbuster-style comic book stories. Judas Contract, in comparison to all those stories I just listed, is actually a lot smaller, a lot quieter, a lot more personal and character-driven, as was the style of Titan's stories at the time. Also, all these other Dark Multiverse stories were tragedies in their own way, but Terra was always kind of a bad person, and so her turning evil and dooming this entire universe isn't nearly as tragic. Of course, the impact might also be weakened to the fact that this story had to come at the end of all the other stories, and well, they basically played on the same idea of what if one character went nuts and ruined everything for everybody. Overall, it's certainly not bad, but far from my favorite. I could only give this one a 6 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, Cape Joel again, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. It really helps drive engagement and helps me out too. Also, if you are a patron, which you can become for as little as $1 a month, you will get exclusive content that no one else can ever see, and you'll get to see the Comic Multiverse podcast before anyone else too. You can check out all this and more down in the description. And until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.